Hi, welcome to CrimeMitten. We are your hosts. I'm Shelby.
And I'm Alia.
Every week, you'll hear a new true crime story based in Michigan, from the mysterious missing cases to the gruesome murders that left the police struggling to stay on the scene. We're giving you the inside scoop on what's going on in our Mitten state. Tune in every Wednesday for your weekly dose of Michigan true crime. Hey guys, we hope that you watched Dirty John episodes 1 through 4. And we're jumping straight into episodes 5 through 8 now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you didn't watch it already, go back and watch it. Yeah, go back on Netflix, or you can look at part 1 because we pretty much recapped everything.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting into the plot of episode 5.
The good stuff.
The good stuff. This is when everything, like all the action takes place. Like the first 4 was good.
It gets real here.
But it was just like it made you get in your little feelings and stuff. But like this part had you like screaming at your TV, mad. Like this is when you really bonded with the show. Alright, so what do we know before episodes 5 through 8? Just that
the family didn't like John, or her kids didn't like John. Her mom did, but like the rest of the family did not like John. Mm-hmm. What else? She had gone back to him through like his rehab process. She basically like got him back to good health.
Yeah.
What else was it?
And then I felt like I put like that news like Debra. Beforehand, I was like looking into the case, like episodes 1 to 4, watching it. I didn't know why she was kind of doing it, and then like at the end of it, I kind of thought about it like maybe she played everything the way she did with like trying to work it out with him because it was her 5th marriage, and she like I can't go for.
She couldn't do nothing.
I still want to find love, so now I'm like six married shorty. That is such a tongue twister to say.
Yeah.
So.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that was like pretty much what we knew beforehand. I also still knew my fact of don't trust nobody named John.
Don't.
Because like it's not a good name. Remember, John used to actually be like a family name. Like they're like, yeah, if you get a John, it's like a nice strong family name man type thing. And then then we hit this century, we just like
John ain't the one.
You're like, yeah, I don't. Johns weren't reporting everything they were doing at home. So, episode 5 starts with him going cold turkey with his drugs. Mm-hmm. And, I felt like that part was kind of like, I didn't know if I believed it or not.
Oh, when he was, during his rehab process?
Yeah, like, remember when he was, like, when she did it, I guess they did it in, like, a hotel room or something. And, yeah, because he was just like, oh, help me. And I was just like, they reveal so much about you in this show so far that, like, maybe you really are in pain, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, he's somewhere shooting up, like...
Right, is he still doing drugs?
Yeah, so...
Because she wasn't there with him at all times.
Yeah, so he could have been doing it there.
Right.
Makes sense.
Because at this point is when, so they're going through the rehab process together in a hotel room because her family doesn't know that they're back together. So they have to hide out. Like, you're a little too old to be hiding.
And this is like
your relationship.
Yeah, this is like you living at your parents' home and you got a boyfriend.
You don't want them to know yet. Now, like, you're too old to be hiding your relationship, but she knew her family wasn't going for it, so that was kind of her only option. So, they hiding out in this hotel or whatever they are. She's nursing him back to health. But obviously she can't be there full time. She has to still pretend to be living on her own at home. And that was when Tara and her boyfriend broke up.
She was in such distress. Like, I get it, but like the way they portrayed her, she was just like,
I can't do anything.
She was like, why would he could have told me this like 2 months ago. Which I feel you, girl. Like, if you knew you felt this way,
right? You could have just left.
Just left.
Not let this keep going.
So she wanted to come back home and get babied on.
Right.
All that cool stuff. And that's when I felt like the only reason, because it seemed like Tara was accepting this time to like not like completely accepting, but like okay, Mom.
Right,
like,
if that's what you gonna do.
Because the fact is, remember she ended up bringing up the guy. She's like, remember that guy Terry who was crazy? And da, 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 da. Yeah, he's a good man now. He has a wife and kids. And then a couple days later, she was like, yeah, I'm going over. I'm about to go hang out with Terry. And she's like, with his wife? And she was like, she may or not be there or whatever. Like, is that really? That's none of your business. Like,
Stand up.
I told you. So like, I feel like that's probably the only reason she was accepting, because she was like, I'm about to go do some shady stuff too, and like at this point, you definitely can't say nothing to me now, because look who you with. Like, Terry don't got no felonies or nothing like that we know of.
Right.
Like, from what it sounded like, he kind of did, but who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, so ended up wrapping up that episode. Debra nursed this man back to health just for him to still be on drugs.
Just for him to still be on drugs. So, because that's when Tara was like still living with Debra,
Mm-hmm.
and Debra was still sneaking around with John because nobody could know. So we just said like Tara wanted to be babied or whatever. She wanted everything to be done how it was done when she was little. Like she wanted that experience with her mom again. So she gets up in the middle of the night to go talk to Debra, and she's not there. Meanwhile, Debra is at John's house nursing this man. So try to sneak back in at like 6 in the morning, and Tara popped her head up off the bed like, so are you there?
If that's
I've
not
been
the
waiting
most,
on you.
like, girlfriend, boyfriend thing to do, like, yeah, so where we going? Like,
Is Kanan now?
Like, wait, you moving?
Kanan really a grown man.
He is. He's very much a grown man. But yeah, so they find out, like, that's what she found out, and
Not really, because Debra just said that she was out. She couldn't sleep.
She didn't prove it.
She didn't say where she was.
But you can like have suspicious too, because it's like out doing what at this room.
Doing?
I came to your room at 1.
You weren't here.
Those are freak hours. So it's like you.
What you doing?
You wasn't at yoga,
right?
But yeah, that was funny because I think I would have just been honest with my kids. Like, yeah, I'm.
But
surprised.
She knew.
Like, I know y'all mad
they
about
weren't
it.
gonna be that accepting.
Yeah, I guess. So then they go see a lawyer. Remember, they go see the lawyer to go fix up his
past,
his legal troubles and stuff like that. And he gets mad when she was like, "Oh yeah, and also we want to find out if there was anything to do to clear it, like, you know, how my family
family feels." They was like, so the lawyer's like, "What about a post-nup? Like, it'll help your family feel more comfortable with him, blah, blah, blah. They know, there are no other motives or anything." John went from, like, this chill, relaxed guy sitting in this lawyer's office to, like, pissed.
He's mugging them at the lawyer. The lawyer's talking and stuff. He's just like...
This man not even blinking at this point. Like, he is staring this lawyer, staring him into his soul.
And it was so messed up though, because it was like we had a conversation. We ended up like talking about this. Me and Dre was like, the feelings behind it, and I was like, personally, if it was done to make my family feel good, you should have confidence that it's going to last, so that it don't ever have to be used.
It don't have to be that way.
He got mad because he knew it wasn't. He was like, I'm not trying to be here that long.
Right. It's not supposed to be forever.
It's permanent, like. I just need to at least hit 10-year mark. Like,
he didn't even need that.
No, they moved on really. They moved pretty fast in their relationship. So like, it was whatever. So, that they ended up firing a lawyer because he was like,
no, they didn't fire the lawyer.
Yeah,
he fired the lawyer. John fired the lawyer. Like a couple days later, or like the next day or something like that. So at this point, the lawyer is suspicious. Like, you fired me. Debra had nothing to say. Like, I didn't hear anything from her, so the lawyer went to Debra's job.
Like, she's the one paying.
Right, her money. So
Don't
the
you
lawyer,
think it matters?
Exactly. So the lawyer goes to Debra's job and leaves her, like, a little letter or whatever, saying, like, John fired me. Did you know anything about this? I just wanted to let you know. So she goes home, take John the letter. John blows up, obviously. blows up, call the lawyer, like, leave my, like, something, she don't have anything to do with this, or something, like, off the wall, he said, and then asked for his money back.
Asked for her money back at that, because it was never,
it was not his money. It wasn't.
He was like, and I want all of it back, not the stuff you took out, the hours you took out.
Right.
Like, so you knew she was satisfied with those hours used.
Right. The lawyer wasn't going to give him a full refund. The lawyer was just going to give him back the money, like the extra money after, so, you know, you pay
the remainder of the retainer.
The remainder of the retainer, and then the hours that they had already spent with him, and like the hours into his work and everything. So the lawyer wasn't giving him all his money back because he had already done some of the work.
He worked. You just didn't like that it came out the way that it did.
Exactly.
You can't prove this is fraud because it's you. If it's you, it's not fraud.
And this man was suing lawyers. He would win a case and then sue the lawyer so he would not have to pay them. So that's the kind of stuff that he was on.
And nobody wanted to be around him. They didn't want to touch him.
No lawyer wanted to fight for him because everybody knew at this point. So he told the lawyer, like, if he didn't get all his money back, that he was going to the board. So at this point, the lawyer is scared, but, like, that's not the only thing that's scared. This man, John, was calling the lawyer to threaten him all the time, to the point where the lawyer started taking a gun to his, to the office with him. So, like, in the scene, you see John is at home not worried about this man. Like, John is at home cooking or whatever he's doing. And the lawyer is shuffling around the office, like, looking out the window, trying to make sure John is outside. He runs to the door to lock his office door. And from there, he started carrying a gun because he was just so scared that John was going to show us through.
This is an old man, too.
An old man. So, like, scared this man into giving him his money back.
He could have had a heart attack or something. Like, you really, like, he ran.
This man ran to the door.
Like, and it was like a limp he was doing with it, too. So it was like, you knew you had no right messing with messing with somebody's granddad like that. Like, it's not that serious. But that was... I'm stuck on the fact that this old man was running. But, so they wasn't that's when, like, all the stuff started flipping out and find out, like, Debra knew about half the stuff that, like, she wasn't in tune with everything, but she started, like, realizing, like, started keeping certain things.
Some of the stuff that was going on, she started noticing.
Like, instead, she realized that she had a tracking device on her car, and it wasn't Veronica's.
Right.
So, she would, like, throw him off and be like,
drop the car off somewhere.
Yeah, and then go take care of the business and stuff. So I'm like, you kind of get in there, like, it's sad.
That's when we realized, like, how much money this lady really got.
Yeah.
She dropped her car off at the dealership and then took a lift somewhere else. But as she dropping the car off, they like, what's her name?
Miss Newell.
Miss Newell, like, we got this thing out for you in the back. Like, if you want to look at it. She's like, no, I'll be back later. Like, so they just know you by name. The dealership knows you by name.
Yeah, you're a frequent customer there. Like, right. That's when she had bank. I knew she had bank when she was like, oh, this is my stash. Bam, $80,000 to $90,000 right there. And I was like,
in a duffel bag though.
And I'm looking at my little stash like, oh yeah, something. I thought I was doing good this week.
So what's in the bank?
Right, and then I think they show like a clip of it, like a little snippet of it. And don't quote me, but like when John realized she took the $30,000 out, she had like $3,800,000
left in the bank.
Plus, it was plus. I'm just giving a round estimate, but I think it was like a little bit more than that. So it was like this woman, he kind of
knew what he was
doing. Like
he knew what he was doing, but not enough.
Yeah, his downfall was he didn't think that he should have got somebody that didn't have a family.
Yeah,
that
he
cared
didn't
about
think
her
family was going to be so involved. That's what messed him up.
And B was like, I'll sell a purse to save my mama.
Yeah.
Like that. That was that's real love. So, after she found this out, she met with V and Veronica. I don't know why I personally called this girl V. But you know what? From Shameless. Because Veronica on there is V. I don't even know this chick. So Veronica meets with Debra about it, and they're like, okay, I found this little apartment, and it looks like it's secure well, and I was up, let's just move back together. So she's like, all right, yeah, whatever. Takes out $30,000 out the bank. Don't know why. She never really said why, because, like, I don't think no apartment was $30,000.
Right. It's not told where they were leaving. Where they were living.
So who knows? Or, she like the
she just needs that security.
Down,
yeah,
like,
she does.
Type
first
of thing.
year down type of stuff.
So she takes out $30,000 out of her account, and John somehow, well, not somehow, but
he was
John
watching her account.
Yeah, and he
had them alerts on.
Yeah, like she didn't even have alerts on. Like he
was watching hard.
He was. And he's like, "Why did you take out $30,000?" And I'm like, "Dude, that's not even your money. Pipe down, dude. That has nothing to do with you." Like,
and that's what she said. Like, it's my money. He like, what do you say? Oh, what? It's like, what's mine is yours, right? And what's yours is mine. She like, no, because whatever I had before we got together is mine. He like, oh, that's what you think? And he just blows up. So she's packing up her stuff. So, they show her packing up her stuff. But in the podcast, she's like, I was just grabbing random stuff. Like, I was so annoyed. She's like, I grabbed a shirt, something else.
A shoe.
A bracelet, a shoe. Like, what? He was like, a pair of shoes? She's like, no, a shoe.
A shoe, like, but it looked like in this show, like
she was just throwing stuff in the bag.
She didn't
There was, like, no thought to it. She was just packing up stuff. Meanwhile, this man, like, hit me, and this will be the end, like, it'll be the end of you or something like that. Like,
yeah, he was like, it'll be the last time you'll get up or something.
You know this lady is not about to hit you. Right. You know she's not gonna hit you. So she just kept picking up her stuff, and then he kept like jumping at her like he was gonna hit her.
And see, my thing,
but let her walk out the door. It's like
she was able to like turn her back and walk out the door. And I think it's messed up because it's like, this lady wasn't gonna hit you for one, because when she left you in the hospital, what'd she tell you? She's going to the chapel. So you know that this woman is like sweet, like she's not, because like let you get me. I would whoop you all the way in the hospital. Like, I'm like, he needs to be on another unit after I'm done. Because I'm like, dude, narcotics? That's a big lie and cover up to do. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not even like, oh yeah, he smokes this. And I'm like, no, you're talking about like, hospital grade. Like, that is wild.
Right.
How is anybody supposed to be like to take that well? And all she said was, I'm going to go to the chapel and pray for you. Yeah, like, you really...
Right.
You knew that woman wasn't gonna do nothing now, because like, ask another woman to do that. She probably would have. Yeah, she probably would have whooped. Like, they probably would have tied his head.
Tell another woman to hit.
Like, he knew what to do. Like, he knew what he could get away with her, and that was the sad part about it. So then, episode 7, they talk about a lot of like what happened before he met Debra.
Right.
And and he used to prey on women. Like, this wasn't like we've met online and fell in love thing. It was like he was pretty much preying on women like that had money, and like there was like Debra hit all the check marks. Honestly, I do think I think that the Carrie chick, remember it was like they showed the Carrie. I really think that like if she never found out that he wasn't really a doctor, that's who he really wanted to. That's who he would have stuck with. Yeah, that's who he really wanted to. Because that's who he
called when, so it showed, like, everything that happened, like, when they first started dating, it showed, like, all of that from John's perspective. So everything was happening from Deborah's side, but now in episode 7, they're showing how stuff is happening on John's end. So the same way Debra went on all of these dates, John went on all of his dates, too. But he wasn't looking for someone to fall in love with. He was looking for someone to prey on, basically, take their money. So... then as soon as Debra put him out, he go back to his trailer and is like calling up these other women. And then so the lady Carrie was like, I know you're not a doctor. I checked with all of these people you say you're associated with, and I have no idea who you are.
Like.
So that's when he knew, like, all right. So he, the next day on his while he doing his little
community service hours.
Yeah, his community service. He get in his community service. And he's, like, thinking, like, of things he can say to Debra to apologize, basically. So
literally rehearsing everything.
What
he rehearses
he's
everything he says to her before. Like, we thought it was genuine, and he's, like, practicing.
He, like, rehearsed this. So he asked him, like, can I go to the bathroom? And they're like, sir, this is not prison. This is community service. Like, just go. So, obviously,
that's when you don't get your hours.
Right, that's on you. So obviously he doesn't go to the bathroom, and he just steps out and called Debra with this little sob story he just came up with in his head. And he's like, what did he say? Like, I'm so sorry.
I didn't think
this was going to be real. I didn't know I was going to feel a connection right away. We all know how these online dating services work. Like, you get on there, you think something like, about, like, just wanting sex or something, but with you, it was something serious, and I'm so sorry. I just want to see you again. Okay, so that was how the little sob story that he made up in the midst of his little community service hours. And obviously it worked because
this is the last piece of community service I'm doing. He could have walked out like, I'm rich now. Like, you were in the door. After that, like, after the little sob story, because they go on a second date, he plays the whole, like, oh, I'm not going to come in because I don't want to ruin it.
I don't want to ruin it.
And I'm like, alright. Like, when I'm watching it first episodes, I'm like, okay, I get it. Control that.
Shelby didn't listen to the podcast first. She went straight
I watched the Netflix, like, because I'm like, alright, let me see what I get from here, and then I'll get the rest of it, like, because I wanted to compare it before it, like, okay, their actual words and then like the Netflix version, and I'm like, no, I really didn't like the roller coaster. Next time, just listen to the podcast first, because I was like, aw, he's sincere. But
that man made that up in community service.
And was like, yeah, you know, like, could have told her like, yeah, I'm just breaking off from surgery and stuff. I got a few minutes and stuff. Like, dude, you're not a doctor. You're not a nurse. You're not even a CNA. Like. What? But yeah, so they talk about that, like, they go into like his whole gist of it, and they see I'm on the wrong card.
But no, next scene was when he next scene after they show like the past and his little sob story that he made up. It goes into them going to the lawyer, or going to court about the restraining order. Yeah. So the restraining order was for Veronica, Toby, and her nephew Toby, and Debra. They didn't get one against Tara because they thought Tara was safe, that he wouldn't go after her because he hasn't messed with her in a while. So they go to get this restraining order. Debra got her lawyer. John comes in on his own with a limp and a cane.
Okay, he just stole somebody's granddaddy cane.
Right. Talking about his MS messing up and blah, blah, blah. And he's going to defend himself. The judge's like, no.
You can't. Like, not in this proceeding.
This is not what we're doing. Come back in a month when you figure everything out. Come back in a month with the lawyer.
Exactly. Like, what you're supposed to do. Like, he knew that it was going to get pushed back, though. Like, he's too smart not to know that you need a lawyer for something like this. Like, the claims that you're getting, this isn't your first.
This is not your first event.
So, you got restraining orders out on you now. You know you need a lawyer. Like,
right.
But also, he probably really couldn't get a lawyer.
Honestly, because none of the lawyers wanted to be around him.
So, maybe he was honest and like, I guess I gotta defend myself then. But that's on you. Stop being so shady.
Right.
So, yeah, they go to court and they dismiss it because you don't have, they're like, you'll come back in a month because you don't have a lawyer, and I'm not doing this proceeding without you having representation. So you can come back on me and be like, well, it was an unfair trial.
Right.
She probably knew about him. Like, oh no, right. You gotta dot your I's and like cross your T's with him.
So yeah,
to pay her back.
I don't even know if it was payback because nothing even happened.
Yeah, but I mean,
this was more of like just a threat. This wasn't payback because nothing happened at court. So this is not even payback. She ain't do nothing.
That's true.
It was all him.
It was, but like,
so like I guess as a threat.
Yeah.
As a threat, we'll say.
To him, it was a celebration.
Yeah. I guess.
He felt like such a badass afterwards, like walking away from it and stuff. Like, did he expect him to explode or something? Like,
so, you know, I don't know what to call it, a threat, I guess. He goes to her job, hides out in the bushes, waits for her to, like, you know, get into work, settle down, steal her car, take it to the desert, and set her on fire. But he wasn't that bright. It didn't blow up because he closed all the doors, so there's no oxygen, and the fire just dies down. Didn't do the damage that he thought it was supposed to do, I guess. He was
expecting, like, Joker walking away and the whole hospital blows up vibes. Like,
None of that.
Because
you couldn't leave the
that
windows
makes
cracked.
sense.
You couldn't leave a door open.
Nothing.
He just closed everything up, and nothing happened to the car. Obviously, it was on fire, but like it didn't blow up.
It wasn't as big as
he wanted it to be.
Yeah, it could have been bigger.
Right, it could have.
He didn't have vision.
But the way he got caught was his fault. He's the one who told Debra she needed cameras at her job. So he asked these cameras, and that's how he got caught. That's how they knew it was him that did it. Obviously, they probably would have already known it was him.
It just solidifies it.
Right, the cameras will let them know, like, okay, it was him. So
he did this.
Right. Talking to the lawyers, he's like, oh, no, I didn't steal the car because it's not counted as stealing because I have the spare key. Like, okay, so you have a spare key. She knows you have a spare key. Why did you hide in the bushes? Like, oh, she's just petty. She'll tell me I can use the car and then change her mind last minute after I'm there.
He's so quick on his feet. Like,
literally. So, they like...
Where did you get time to even practice this lie? Because they caught him instantly because they seen it was him.
He had the stuff ready. Like, he knew. So, obviously, it's nothing they can do about it because it's like, well, he has the key. So, basically, they just got to let him go.
At that point.
Basically.
So, the lawyer's like, well, I don't think that, like, the reason why he's probably never put his hands on you and all this is because, like, he's just,
it's
like...
something bigger coming. Like,
he
only got your car because there's something bigger coming. Which, obviously, it was.
Yeah, because...
Or the show probably wouldn't exist.
Exactly. Then, like, where's the true crime in it? Because... As of right now, I really was thinking, like, this is kind of like a watered down, like, okay, maybe, like, you know, it's a true crime because of, like... the offenses that he was doing and stuff like that. So, like, yeah, because this is when I was, like, yelling at my screen and stuff, like, like, you don't want to be that person. It's like, don't go in there, but, like, I turned into that person because, like, I felt like I was invested in it, like, I was in the show, like, I was like, you're supposed to be looking out for this kind of car and all this other stuff. So, in episode 8 in the beginning, the police called him back for the car incident thing, but nobody could find him because this man is in the middle of nowhere building a hole. I mean, digging a hole.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, shoot, it's about to get real. Like, you don't just dig holes for no reason.
Right. So this is when it begins to get real. Episode 8 is it. The final episode, and this is it. Yeah. So, get into it.
He follows...
Oh, Veronica.
No, he followed her assistant first, remember?
Yeah. That's that she was getting the coffee.
Yeah,
so that's how they found out where they were. She followed Debra's assistant because at this point, Veronica and Debra are living together. So
it's so funny though, because like how he was like walking by and stuff. Like you was such a creep. Like somebody would drive by and then you just look over. He like staring right there, like. Right. And then like he'll disappear again. Then be walking across the street with a dog. Like where'd you get a dog from?
So that's how he found out where Debra lives. So now Veronica is out, hanging out, whatever. She gets back. She has like a Lyft driver or whatever. So they get back to the apartment and she looks over and she sees John. They lock eyes. So now he know he busted. So he takes off. She like, go, follow the car. This person has been stalking me and my mom. Like, go, follow this car. This a down Lyft driver because he literally follows
and he's like whipping that boy for her too.
And he like, well, his lights are out. She like, yeah, he did that on purpose. He had to have turned his tail lights off on purpose because he doesn't want anybody to know. Like he's been stalking us. So this man literally follows him until they get to John turns onto the freeway. At that point, they know they lost him. So it's just like whatever. It's no point in following. So Tara thinks that his next stop, or Veronica thinks his next stop is Tara's apartment. So he like, okay, go to my sister's apartment. She gives the guy directions to Tara's apartment. And this guy actually camps out with Veronica, make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, because she didn't want to wake Tara up to it. Like, if he didn't come, then she just, like, scared for no reason. And she knew she was good because the dog and the cat were in there.
She actually went to her apartment to make sure she was there. And she heard the cat and the dog, like, at the door or whatever. So she didn't, like, have any worries that something was wrong with Tara.
Can I say, though, like, when she went to the door, for some reason, I don't know why I felt like something was wrong. Like, I was happy she called the next morning, but I'm like, why isn't she answering the door? Like, why is the dog trying to get to the door?
Right,
but I'm like, okay, he probably know Veronica sent and like, oh, my friend's here. Like,
yeah.
But I was really worried, like, oh no, like she's not gonna go in to see, like, Alia, come in my house to check on me. Don't just be like, oh, I heard the baby. Like, no, come all the way in. Like, I always need help.
Right.
Even if it wasn't like a serious life or death, you can come help.
Just help.
So yeah, I was worried for her for a second.
Yeah. So she knows everything is fine. So her and the Lyft driver camp out downstairs or whatever, wait around till daylight. So she sees that he's not coming. So she goes back. Veronica goes back home and calls her and like telling her to be careful or whatever. But at this point, you're seeing John. Veronica is saying like, be careful. He's in a black car. His taillights are out. All she knew was like it was a black 4-door car. Like she didn't know. She said a model, but she got the model wrong
said, like,
too.
A sedan or
yeah,
something.
So she got the model wrong. So now it's daylight, and you see John at a blue 4-door car plugging the taillights back in.
Yeah. So like the whole description of what Tara's looking for is completely off. It's
off.
not her fault because the car did look
right.
black.
It looked black in the pitch black.
Yeah, at night, of course it looks dark.
So, Tara, so she's telling Tara, like, be careful. Tara's like, you know, I'm going to this concert, this festival, whatever. I'm not even going to be home this weekend. So, you know, like, thanks for telling me, but
doesn't apply to me.
I'm not going to be home. So, Tara, she goes to work, and her boss is like, you know, I know you can't come in, but why is it that you can't come in? Like, what are you doing that you can't come in? She's like, you know, I'm going to the concert, blah, blah, blah. But she's like, I leave right after this. I'm going straight there to pick up my friend. And, you know, we going straight to the concert. I won't be back till Monday. Mm-hmm. So her boss is like, okay, that makes sense. And she goes on about her day. But in the podcast, Tara explains, oh, so that's how basically John would have known her schedule. Mm-hmm. Kind of like.
Oh, yeah, because he called to, like, make that fake appointment.
Fake appointment. He called her like the day before to like make sure that she was going to be at work on Friday, and basically it's like set an appointment for this fake dog and whatever, made this appointment.
Which is so clever.
It was like just to make sure she was going to be at work. And like she said, she didn't think anything of it because she was like, after the fact, she thought of it like she's never had a man put in a special request from her. She usually worked with small dogs. This guy explained a big dog to her. And she was like, I don't know, like, where he came from, where he got the recommendation from. But she was like, okay, I got, like, a happy customer recommended me. So she was like, but she didn't think about it, like, the day of, he never came. The person with the big dog never came in. Like, he missed his appointment or whatever. So this whole time that her boss is talking to her, you see it from, like, an across the street view.
Yeah.
So that's how you know John is watching her from this car. You kind of see, like, it's not like the camera's right up on them. You can see it from across the street.
Yeah, it's like
he's sitting across
somebody
the street.
else's point of view at that point.
Yeah, he's watching it from somebody else's point of view, and you know you're watching it from John's point of view. So, the end of her shift, she goes home because she left her bag at home. Mm-hmm. So she had to go back home to get her bag, and I guess like drop her dog or whatever, off or whatever. And this is about 5 o'clock, like after work hours, not quite 5, because she told her friend she would be there at 5. And her friend's like, oh, I'll be ready at 5:01, like joking. So she's planning to pick up her friend, like basically after work hours. So this is still kind of middle of the day. She gets home, and she said when she pulled up, she saw a car, but obviously the car is blue, not black.
It's not the same description.
And she said she parks in the same parking spot every day. They don't have assigned parking, but they always park in the same. She always parks in the same spot. So she's like, 2 days
like
over.
No assigned seats at school, but everybody always sits in the same spot. Yeah.
So basically, she pulls up and she sees what she thinks is a homeless man, like, just digging in his back seat for his stuff. And she gets out the car. She has her dog with her, and she has a purse, like her bag and like purse strapped to her. Mm-hmm. So she gets out, and John walks up to her. He said something weird and
he's
slick.
Like, remember me or something. It was something
weird.
Like, something like he been practicing. Like, he was do everything, but he practiced
He rehearsed this line.
He has, like, different catchphrases and stuff like that, like what he was going to say to her. Because it didn't even make sense.
It was
like, thought this is the last you've seen of me or something like that. But it was just like,
okay,
you could have said, like, no, like, but to Veronica, it would have made more sense because the beef been going on and stuff.
Right.
Tara probably wasn't thinking
about, like, smashed for a long time, so she thought.
Well, so, yeah, that's what she thought.
Right. So he instantly starts attacking her. And so she thinks that she's being punched. Whole time she's being stabbed, and she doesn't realize it. Like, it got to the point where he, like, literally she has a gash in her arm. So she's fighting him off. At this point, he's on top of her.
Yeah.
But the knife falls out of her hand, or out of his hand, and because she's so into Walking Dead, like, she's like, he was holding the knife wrong. Like, I knew it was gonna fall out, but the way it fell out close to her with the handle pointing towards her. So it was easy for her to grab it, and she knew how to correctly hold a knife from The Walking Dead. Or what actually saved her first is when she bit him.
Yeah, another thing she learned from The Walking Dead. The dog was tearing his ankle up.
And the dog was messing
the whole time. Like he didn't let
biting at his ankle the whole time. So she instantly starts stabbing him. And I wish I wrote it down, but like in the podcast, it said like every point that she hit. So it was like shoulder, in between the shoulder blades, left shoulder, right shoulder. Like she was like really stabbing him, like neck, to the point where she stabbed him in his eye, went through his eye into his brain, and that's what killed him. And like you see him take his last breath over her and fall. Meanwhile, there's a little girl upstairs watching all of this happen, or she saw it all happen, and she tells her mother instantly, like, call the police. Mm-hmm. This little girl had just got in from,
what's it, lifeguard classes?
Lifeguard classes. So she sees Tara, or this is what's described in the podcast. So she sees Tara, she takes off running downstairs. She said it took her, she had to go, like, down 2 flights to get out, and then up 2 flights to get to the top of the parking garage. And like run diagonally to get to them. So she said it took her about 2 minutes to run. Her mom calls the police. Like at this point, everybody who sees is calling the police. So everybody knows what's going on, or the police know what's going on. So at this point, they're already on their way. So the little girl used what she took her lifeguard towel. All she has on her swimsuit, her shorts, and her towel.
Like literally just left practice.
Just got home. So she goes to Tara, like basically wraps up her arm the way she learned in her classes or whatever, and help her to get her phone to call
Debra.
Yeah, to help
the call
Tara
she made.
The call she made was
she
so
was like,
sad.
I think I killed your husband.
Not like your husband tried to attack me.
Yeah,
I think like she was like so sweet, and she like, I think I killed your husband. Like that's all she could get out basically.
Like I don't know. I don't know if he's breathing or not. Like she was so concerned for him, and like the fact that like his and I'm like I get it, because I'm like, why? Like he's been terrorizing your family terrorizing other women for so long now. Like
yeah, so like that's all she could get out. Like I think I killed your husband. So she finally get her to tell like where they are. So and at this point, Debra and Veronica are on their way. So. And then she has said in the podcast, like, the only way they could get her in the EMS was, like, if she could bring her dog Cash with her. So they let Cash in the EMS. And, like, the whole time she's just heartbroken. Like, is he dead? What's going on? And, like, he is dead, but somebody revived him. Yeah. But to this day, they don't know the person who revived him.
I mean,
the person left as soon as the police come. Right, who wants to take credit for that? Like, after they realized what was really going on, like, after seeing this story in the news, knowing what's going on, ain't nobody taking credit for that.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm good.
No. So she was like, so the police were telling her, like, it's a good thing that somebody brought him back to life, because now we can use his organs for somebody else. So she, like, in her head, like, okay, he lived for a good cause. But they felt so sorry for her, because she kept, like, asking about the concert, and they're like, you're not going to this concert. Like, I know that's what you want. So they were, like, playing country music in the EMS for her, like, just to, like, kind of get her spirits up.
Yeah, that was nice of them.
Right. So now fast forward back to, like, the actual show. They're in the hospital. Yeah. So she's in bed, and she's still sad. For whatever reason, this girl is
it's just hitting her so hard.
Still sad. So, well, I was like, she's traumatized, but it's just she's sad that she killed him at a point.
Yeah,
like, that's
she
what
feel like she has
his
death on her hands.
Yeah, she killed him. So before Debra gets in the room with Tara, they call her to go, because her and John are still married. So the doctors call her to John's room, like, he's on life support. What do you want us to do? They can't use his organs because they're so messed up from
fried
drugs.
At this
they
point.
Are gone. Ain't no organs.
And Veronica finds this hilarious
Veronica
because she's like, y'all kept him surviving this long, thinking that you was gonna harvest his organs, and nobody wins. Like, and I'm like, you know what? When you look deep into it, it is messed up, but it's just like
kept him alive all the time and couldn't use those organs.
So I like the fact that it seemed pretty accurate from what you were saying.
Yeah, like the podcast and the show. They did match up like perfectly. Like the writer of the show literally took all the research and the interviews that the guy from the podcast had and like literally just took all the quotes and everything and put it together to make the show. So like
I love
quotes and all
like
of that were like spot on.
Yeah, I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's like, because you don't feel like, I don't know, I feel cheated when like they be like certain things was dramatized. I'm like, well, what was?
Right. Obviously
like,
there were parts that were dramatized and it said it, but it was like, it was spot on. Like it was accurate.
Yeah, like maybe a few things tweaked for like
for
attraction.
TV.
Yeah, like for TV purposes and stuff. So moments that stood out to you from episodes 5 through 8. Is it one of these when he jumped out the ambulance? Was that wasn't 1 through 4, was it?
I don't think that was 1 through 4.
Let me see. I don't know.
I think that was 1 through 4.
Yeah, he did. That was episode 6.
Was it?
He jumped out.
That part. Okay, yeah, that took place in Michigan, where the cops think they got John. They're so excited because they've been trying to get to him forever, and because he's strung out in the hotel, which again turns out to be Michigan. They get him in EMS. They can't take him straight to prison because
he's OD'd right now. Like, well, not OD, but like he's pretty much there. Yeah. Like he took a nice amount.
So he's in the EMS. Next thing you know, like the cop on the phone bragging, like, yeah, tell our families so we don't have a weekend with the families. Like we don't have to worry about him. Right, we don't have to worry about him no more. John jumped off the EMS and takes off.
Like run full crackhead speed.
Crackhead energy. Runs into the JCPenney, tries to go up the elevator shaft, and they caught him. He still got arrested.
But they was like, all right, now we know you're not about to die, so
right.
That's good to know. He spit on Veronica's birth certificate and sent her a video of it. Like, and I don't. Could you see? Like in the show, did they could you see it?
Yeah. No. Yeah, they showed it.
Like I know they showed it, but like I can't remember like if you've seen like a color.
Yeah.
To it or something. Yeah. I don't know. Either way it go, it was very nasty. I hate anything that deals with saliva. Yeah. So I was offended for her.
Yeah, I've never seen The Walking Dead, but the fact that The Walking Dead tips that she learned from the show is what kept her alive. I think that was pretty cool.
Definitely, because I watched The Walking Dead, and like I love it. Like I think we got like 2 seasons left. Like this was my show when I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Which was really wow. I don't like saying it out loud, but like I was in the hospital room recovering, watching this, and the baby was like on the other side in his little thing, bassinet sleeping and stuff. I don't even consider that the bassinet, but like I'm like, you learn some life skills from it though, because like these people are sweet.
Yeah, she did.
And it helped save her life, so it was worth it. I didn't know that there were fentanyl pops. Like,
yeah,
and that's what made him pass out.
That's what killed, or not killed him, but like
that's how she found out he was on the narcotics, because he passed out from eating one of those. I guess it's for cancer patients.
Right.
And he just like
he was just eating it.
like it was just okay, cool. And then I think the last thing that probably like shook everybody, like the fact that he was like, I know you were brain dead or whatever, vegetable, but you were still alive. Like,
yeah, evil don't die according to the podcast I listen to. Jada XD say all the time, evil don't die.
Apparently, because
he went through all of that. It wasn't like
still was alive.
Dead.
They had to kill him.
They had to literally
pull the plug
for him to
and
die.
Even then, he probably didn't die right away.
You never know.
Right, he probably had like a little jump, like, or something like, I don't know. But I just don't trust that he just went out so easily. But yeah, so what could have made this documentary better?
Honestly, nothing. Really?
Like, I think it was
fine
as it was. Like, even in scenes that you would think didn't have nothing to do with it, it all had something to do with it.
It all tied together some kind of way.
Yeah. So what did you learn?
Trust your kids.
Yeah.
Pay attention to your kids.
I put down stay strapped.
Yeah.
And like I guess you're like I personally hate guns.
Right.
Like, but
you gotta do what you gotta do.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So yeah, and we both would definitely recommend this documentary to anybody. Because it was really good. Like it takes you on an emotional roller coaster. Like you feel like you know the people. Like
you get
your mom is Debra. Like I low key kind of wish that it was like like it was really good though. So definitely recommend it. And so that's all for Dirty John. We just finished the whole series. Then yeah.
Yep.
So then the next one we're doing is
Bob
Ross. Yep. Doing that one. So just so it wouldn't be so gruesome and intense.
we're not gonna go.
It's going.
We're going in a pattern with this.
Yeah, they
we're gonna do this in a pattern.
Yeah, so
we're gonna start October off smooth, and then we'll get to the
messed up stuff. Because
just wait till the Halloween episode.
Yeah, you can't go
some gruesome stuff.
You can't go too deep because then they're too gruesome.
We're gonna start off nice.
Yeah, we're gonna start off slow for the kids, and then we're gonna pick it up to other stuff. So yeah, we hope you guys like it. Please comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. So that you guys can see when we post some videos. We normally post them Wednesday and Sunday, but you never know. You might get a video that's random. And
we feeling random.
You don't want to be late. So
yeah. Do all of that.
Alright, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to CrimeMitten. You can find the transcripts, pictures we've discussed, as well as the links to our references at our website. There, you can also find the links to all of our social media. If you have a case you'd like us to talk about, you can leave a comment down below or go to the Contact Us page of the website and leave a suggestion. Each month, we will choose one for an episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps a lot.